Heidi, and I own the store TPT The Lesson Pony, in which I post science lessons for middle school students and for chemistry students. Today I'm going to show you how to do one of my favorite labs. This is an Osmosis Lab. When I was in nursing school, we did something similar using dialysis tubing, but I find this lab works much better. Here I am with my Gummy Bears. I bought these at the dollar store. They're now $1.25, but you get enough if the students work in groups. You get enough to get through it an entire day. You need the Gummy Bears. You also need them home. You need a clear container. A beaker in school works better. I tell them to measure it, maybe 100, 150 milliliters. Again, it's another practice in measuring. Do not use hot water with the Gummy Bears. The reason being is the Gummy Bears will melt. Take the Gummy Bears, and what you want to do is you want to measure the Gummy Bears you want to measure the Gummy Bears. You want to get the amount of mass that's in the Gummy Bears, and you want to get the length of the Gummy Bears. You can have the students, depending on the class, try using English measurements and metric. If you're pressed for time, just use the metric measurements. Have them weigh the Gummy Bears. Now, this is a part of the lab which some people may disagree with me. If you still have the old-fashioned balance scales in your classroom, have the students use those. The reason being is it makes it much easier for them to learn the separate parts of the metric system. If you don't, just use your regular scale. Measure the amount, I'm sorry, I want to see what the dog was barking at. Measure the mass of the Gummy Bear and measure the length and put it onto a table. Put it in water, in your glass, and put it in the refrigerator overnight. The next day, come into your classroom and have them, again, measure the amount of mass that's in it and measure the length of the Gummy Bear. You will see that it has expanded because of osmosis. Now, other things you can do with this lab is you can put it into Coca-Cola, you can put it into milk, you can put it into salt water. A lot of times they call for it to be in salt water. I have found that I have the best results with sugar water. When you make the sugar water, make sure that you do a super saturated solution. Again, depending on your time, you can have the students make the solution at the desk, let it cool, and then put the Gummy Bears in it. If you like this video, I meant to mention this earlier, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's how we get paid. Another thing that you can do with the Gummy Bears is you can allow the students to have a couple when they're done with the lab. I recommend you don't allow the students to eat the Gummy Bears, and I'll tell you why. In a lab situation, I don't really mind if they eat Gummy Bears. I don't really have a big thing against them. My problem is I don't ever want students to get used to eating food in the science lab. The reason for this is when I was taking a chemistry class a long time ago, before any of you were probably born, in the 1970s, my lab partner was a late night. My lab partner reached for a glass and he thought it was his coffee. It turned out to be 0.6 molar hydrochloric acid, and he burned the inside of his mouth. He's never totally recovered. Therefore, I just do not allow any eating in the lab room. Thank you for viewing. If you have any questions or anything that I can help you with a lab, please let me know. And I love you to the moon and back. Have a nice day, and school's almost out. Woo-woo!